Hi, my name is Joyce Pierce, and I've got something that I think is very important that I'd like to talk to you about today as we approach this Valentine's weekend. Imagine that you have just 1 week to live. What are you going to do with it? Well, I'm old enough now that I've lost some older family and friends, but lately it seems like I'm going to a lot of funerals for people who are even younger than I am. People that you wouldn't expect to lose. One was a 20-year-old young man who died of cardiac arrest during the middle of the night. Another was a man who's about my age who discovered that he had stage 4 cancer and only lived another 2 weeks. Another young man who's the son of a friend of mine recently passed away in his sleep. Now, you don't expect that from young people, but it happens. And while we'd all like to just slip away in the middle of the night, not realizing that we've even left this life and gone to the next one, that passing leaves a huge void in those that are left behind. So there are some things that we can do to help our families. I know I'm the one who's always promoting that you need to get your affairs in order and write things down, but there are some things that I think are even more important than that, and that involves the relationships that we have with our families. Here are a few suggestions, and I really think that I've got them listed in the order of importance. Number 1 is to get yourself straight with God. If you're carrying the burden of sin in your life, repent and ask to be forgiven. And if those sins are of a major consequence, maybe you need the help of your clergy. There are steps to be taken to make those wrongs right. So while it's better to ask for forgiveness on a daily basis and keep the slate clean, no matter when you do it, it's the right time. Just get it done. No need to drag those sins to the pearly gates with you. Get rid of that burden. Number 2 is to make sure that your relationships are in order. If someone has hurt you, then offer them your forgiveness. If you have hurt someone else, then let them know that you've forgiven them. I know when my mother was dying, the hospice doctor pulled me aside and said, "You two, if you have some issues, you need to resolve them now. This is the time to do that." And we spent the next month telling each other that we loved each other and sharing some things that we were sorry for and offering forgiveness. And I know when her death came, we both were a little bit lighter. Our hearts were lighter because of the things that we'd been able to resolve while she was still here. Now, the next thing is number 3, and that's to write letters. Put your feelings in writing. What a wonderful keepsake for someone, for you to leave a letter for them telling them how much you love them or how much they mean to you, or something special about how they've touched your lives. If your family's really lucky, then you've been keeping a journal and they have a record of your life, but even more personal is that letter that you leave just for them. Number 4 is to do what I'm doing right now, and that's to make a video. It doesn't have to be professional. Some people just can't write, and you don't need a script for a video. Just turn on the camera and start talking. That's what I'm doing today. Your family will love just being able to see you and hear your voice when time starts to steal those memories from them. Number 5 is to be positive. This isn't the time to tell your children what they've done wrong or how much they've broken your heart. It's a time for them to know that you love them and hear the positive things from you. They're not going to hear those again. So let them know that you're a person of courage and that you're someone who encouraged and not discouraged them in the things that they did. Number 6 is to make sure you have a will written in the state in which you reside. Don't leave the family fighting over what you've done, but make sure your wishes are carried out by an executor who knows exactly what you want, someone that you can trust. If there are minor children, be specific about what you want for them in the way of their care. Number 7 is to make sure your life insurance policy has the current beneficiary. It won't make your current spouse very happy if you forgot to change it after the divorce. I could tell you all kinds of stories about people that have experienced that. Number 8 is to plan your funeral. Now, it's nothing like planning your birthday, but encourage your family to use this as a time of celebration of your life. Choose your speakers and choose the hymns. Pick out your own casket. I know what I want, and it isn't the same thing that my husband would choose for me. So if you want things to be done the way that you would like, then now's your chance to do it. Get it done now. Make sure they know if you have a cemetery lot or if you've prepaid for your arrangements. Tell them what you want on your headstone. One of my favorites that always makes me laugh is, "I told you I was sick." So that always brings a chuckle. Number 9 is to designate who gets what. Now, you may have told your grandkids or your children or a friend that you're going to leave them this or that, but if it's not written down in writing, all your family has is your word against theirs. So if you've promised Grandma's quilt to Abigail, make sure that's written down. And if you have promised your wedding ring or other sentimental jewelry to someone, make sure you put it in writing. You know, nothing can be proved if there's nothing in writing. So anyone can come in and say, "Grandma promised me this or that." So very important to put those things in writing. Number 10 is to make sure that your spouse has the information they'll need to handle the estate. If you don't have a spouse, then make sure you have a trusted adult who can handle these things for you. And this is the time to share any secrets that you might have been keeping about insurance or bank accounts or about money you've got buried in the mattress or behind the walls. You know, every once in a while you hear about people, builders or repairmen, who tear open a wall and find all kinds of cash, and the house might have been sold 2 or 3 times. So whoever that was who saved that money never got the benefit of it, and neither did their family. But this is the time to pull out all stops. You can't take the money with you, but it might be just what your family needs to keep from losing the home that they're living in. Without your income and support, who knows what could happen to them. Well, they say that a dying man will never say that he regrets not spending more time at work. Instead, he regrets not spending more time with his family. So it makes sense that if you knew you were about to die or that your time was limited, you would forget all about the daily grind and focus on your family. And that's what I want you to do. Getting your relationships in order should be your first priority. Not only do you not have control over your own life, but you have even less control over the lives of others. We always think that we'll get around to saying this or that, we'll compliment, or we'll tell that person that we love them, or might even offer our forgiveness. But if you talk to someone who has lost a child or a spouse or someone that they weren't expecting their death, they always have regrets about wishing that there was something else that they could say or do, whether it's just giving that person a hug as they walked out the door that morning or saying "I love you" as they get in the car to drive off. So keep your relationships clean and say the things that you want to say now, because you really just don't know how much time you do have. Whatever it is that you need to do to make things right with your loved ones, do it now. The clock is ticking, and unlike Superman, one of our favorite superheroes, we don't have the ability to rewind the world and make time go back so that we can change the course of history. I hope this is something that's been helpful to you. With Valentine's approaching, I hope that you will share your love with those that you care about, and not just do it one day a year, but do it every day. This is Joyce Pierce. You can visit emersonpublications.com for more information on showing your family how much you love them.